I'll be brief. We talk so much about the past in Franklin, at the Trust, the Heritage Foundation, Franklin's Charge, but this is about the future. This is about the future and the continued ability to tell this incredible story of what happened here on November 30th, 1864, and to really lay the groundwork for years to come for a real Civil War park. The opportunity for people to come here from all across the country and all across the world to see why this is important, why that date in American history was important, why this war was important. I was thinking as I was driving up this morning, I remember when I first visited Franklin almost 15 years ago, and there were two places that really struck me. And one was the Confederate Cemetery at Carnegie, but the other was this property on Columbia and Clyburn. And I remember standing not far from where the Cotton Gin stood, looking at that ground and thinking, wouldn't it be incredible if one day people could come here and understand in a much bigger context about what really happened here. Not the details of the fighting, although for someone like me we can talk about it all day, but to understand what this country was going through, not just in 1861, and in 1862, in 1863, and even as far back as 1830, 1840, as the country was slowly starting to unravel. But what was happening in 1864 as these last violent, terrible episodes were playing out across the country? What does it mean? And I remember standing on that ground and looking sort of east to west and thinking, it's just a dream. It's not a dream. It's a reality. And I want to thank everyone who's here, but I want to particularly thank people like Mary, Julian, Mike, Danny, Tom, Sam, Mike, go on and on. But I want to especially thank Robert, because Robert is a person who has always had the idea that we could do this. When a lot of other people are like, I'm not really sure we can. Robert's always the person to say, yeah, we can. And you need someone like that. But we also need everyone else's help, and we have gotten it. So lastly, I stood near where the Holt House stood, what was it, almost 4 years ago, and said, I do not get emotional about many things, just ask my wife. But this is another one of those days, and I feel much the same way that I did 4 years ago. This matters. This ground is important. Hallowed ground is not a cheap term. It's real. And thank you, everyone, for coming out and sharing with us this incredible day in the history of this town and the history of America.